Good evening everybody, welcome back to a new video on chess. Today I'm going to be covering a game played against a classmate. This didn't actually end that well for me. I did lose on time, but I was going to lose anyway because it was checkmate at the end. So this was played against the same person I played last time. I was a little bit surprised by the outcome because of the rating difference, but yeah, it happens. I do lose sometimes. So we're going to go through the game. I hope you enjoy. So the game started with d4, d5, which, queen's pawn, and then bishop to f4, and then knight to c6. And then here's it transitioning into the London opening. With e3 and c3, and knight to g3, knight to f3, and then just developing all the pieces. So black played bishop f5, and then f6, and then c3 for me. Look, what the computer suggests that I should play c4, being more aggressive, and then black plays e5, and then bishop back because you don't want to trade. Because then you'd probably lose centre. Because if you traded here, you could take back here and you still have to move back anyway, and then black would just come push. This is still winning for white, but it looks a little bit hard to play because you can then black could be really aggressive with the pawns on the king side, so it looks quite hard to play with white. Instead, we have knight to h6, which doesn't really work. This is +2 now, according to the computer. So there's it looked like a blunder to me, but I didn't really almost mistake. Because after instead, black should have played g5, more aggressive kingside push, pawn push, bishop back to g3, h5, and in this case, if white this doesn't really work because you can't trap the bishop with h4 because white plays h4. And then you just close off the king side with g4 and knight back to knight f to d2. So that's again it looks quite difficult to play because of all these pieces on that really not undeveloped, but they're like back. They're really passive compared to these pieces, and then they can just develop. Black can just develop the knight somewhere if when that happens. So. Again, possible ideas doesn't have to be in that case. Knight b to d2, played by white, and this again wasn't a really good idea, played by me, I was white, because it actually blocks the defense, the queen's defense of the d3 square. So now white can't play to d3 because then it'd just be taken. So it's like an okay-ish move. It's a move that is normally played in the London, but you do have to be careful, a little bit more adaptive to what the opponent plays. And then e6, and h3, bishop to d6, g4 was played, bishop to e4. The computer doesn't like this because, bishop to e4. The computer thinks the bishop should have gone back to g6 because because bishop to b5 was played to pin the knight to the king. However, if knight takes bishop on e4 and bishop takes on f4, so now equal trade, right? Equal trade. Then knight to c5, wanting an attack here or here, and then bishop to b6. This was recommended by the computer, just attacking the knight and being out of the pawn, attack of the pawn, because you can't go back here because you just get trapped. So that was like the only move where black could save the bishop anyway. But then knight takes b5, basically kind of forking the bishop and the queen. And so here's an interesting idea here. Black can't defend the bishop with the queen. The computer suggests one of these two moves, basically activating the queen on the queen side, and then attacking maybe the b2 pawn. But if black were to defend, it's now +7 for white. So now white's up a whole rook and 2 pawns because of bishop b5, pinning the knight to the queen and the king, getting a really strong bishop. And then now back to g8, trying to get a defense, basically trying to defend this knight because you can't really go anywhere else at this moment. And then knight to a5, attacking this knight. So now this knight needs to be defended, which will happen. Which if knight to knight g to e7 defends this knight. Now this knight takes e6, knight takes e6, and queen a4. You actually lose this knight because you can't defend it because you have no other thing to defend it, and white can then on the next move white takes, you can't take back because of the queen. So yeah, you actually lose a knight in this variation. But you have to think like 7 moves ahead, which is very difficult for beginner players. That's why very simple move is played. Now it's equalised. Queen to d7, kingside castling, bishop takes f3. Yeah, queen takes f3. So in this case, I wouldn't have. I personally wouldn't have done this. Because bishops are better in the endgame. So I probably would have either gone back or basically find a way to like attack, be more aggressive. But yeah, this happens. A6 attacking the bishop, and bishop takes c6. Yeah, makes sense. And queen takes c6, and then knight to b3. Now, what's very interesting about a6 is it's very close to being a blunder, or maybe it is a blunder, because if you take if you analyse the game, you get a +5 or +6 for white, and then this goes back to -1. So this is definitely a blunder. So instead of developing the knight, trying to develop the knight to a more active square, you can actually take on h6. Bishop takes h6, and if takes back, which means you equalise material, queen takes f6, now winning a pawn, and now you don't want to lose the rook, so you have to either do something with the rook, or maybe move the king out of the way. But then queen takes e6 check, and basically down 2 pawns, f4, and then +6 because even though it's very close in material, you have a really active queen, really weak. The black king's really weak, and this is a potential target for white. Because you can then open up, well, once these pawns are gone, the king this rook opens up, and this is really strong. Possibly knight out somewhere, possibly to here. Because then, yeah, it looks quite strong. Knight to here looks quite strong. Yeah, that's a possible idea for white. Instead, this happens. And a5, same idea again. Since black hasn't defended this knight or moved it, you can take it, and you get the same idea. Slightly worse in this case, just because the pawn moved. Very odd. But then I played the wrong move here. Bishop takes d6 instead of bishop takes h6. Queen takes d6. A4 and castles kingside. So in this position, it's -0.5. So now black is potentially winning. Queen e2. Another possible idea is rook a to c1 and c6, basically just being more developing your pieces more. So that's possible. But queen e2, basically getting trying to move the queen out of danger of the rook, if that does happen, and trying to get more tempo on the get more aggressive on the queen side instead. It's okay move, not the best. e5, and he takes e5. Yeah, again, not the best move. Computer suggests c4, basically counter attacking the centre. and then e4 closing the centre with black, and then possibly like c5, and then moving the queen to like e6 or something like that. And yeah, very closed position. But instead of takes, f takes e5, and here's another blunder by me, f4. Now you might think, why is this such a blunder? Because like takes, yeah. So the computer suggests king to g2, basically more safe place for the king. E takes f4, rook takes f4, rook takes f4, e takes f4, and queen f4, queen takes f4. So now black's up one pawn, and queen to e6 check. Again, not the best move. There are other moves in this scenario. King h8, king h8. Again, you could also block with a knight and actually develop the knight to a more active square, or block with the queen and just trade off queens. Doesn't happen in this game. Rook e1, and this is terrible for white. And do you know why it's terrible? Because queen to g3 check, and this is -10, nearly -11. Because we can look at it, and if let's suppose king to f1, this is making 7. Because rook f8 check, queen f5, knight takes f5. Because if you don't block it with the queen, it's actually making 5. So you actually have to have this kind of losing move in this case, and basically you just have to lose the queen. You still lose anyway. So king e2, rook e8 check, king d1, queen takes e1 check, king c2, rook e2 check, king d2, queen takes d2 check, and if any king move, king b1 or king b3, it leads to checkmate. Queen takes b2 checkmate. But instead of king f1, you also play king h1. This is -11, and queen takes h3 check, king g1, queen g3 check, and king h1. You don't want to repeat moves in this case, because then you lead to a draw, and this is not drawable. That's not what you want in this game. You want to develop your pieces. So rook f8, queen e3, trying to trade off queens, but queen h4 check, and king g2. And then yeah, you can this is playable, kind of. It's very losable, very easy to lose with white here. But if black were to play rook e8, that would just lose a rook and really be quite bad. So instead, after rook f8, which actually this actually kind of was an anti-blunder, or basically this is in this position it's -10, this position -1, but then I come back with the queen with e2, queen e2, and now it's back to -9. So what happens to queen g3 check? Queen g2. This is -63. And if I would play the better move like king h1, just queen takes h3, and you basically just play to trade off pieces. Yeah, and then this is still winning for black because of the more active queen. And then white's very unsafe king. Queen takes e1 check, because now the rook's undefended, because when you move the queen, the rook that gets undefended, so you can just take. So now this is definitely winning for black, and it's making 10. So I would invite you to find your making 10. You can find it, making 11, making 10, something around there. You can find it if you want. King h2 and queen f2. There's a better move. You can actually play rook f2, and this actually loses the queen for a rook instead of losing the queen for a queen. But again, white's now down a rook, so it doesn't really matter what you play because you still win. So we trade off on f2, rook f2 check, king g3 attacking the rook, and rook takes b2 attacking the knight. Knight to d4 defending the knight, and the rook again attacks the knight. In this case, yeah, I mean, you can do that. You can also just attack the a pawn, or just develop this knight somewhere. Develop the knight on h3 to like f6, h6 to f7, and make it more active. Or you're going to just attack here. Again, attacking the a pawn, you can't defend it. Not defendable, so you would win a pawn in this case. But rook takes, and then rook to d2, knight e6. What the idea is here is I'm looking for a where if black were to go back with the knight, I'm looking for a smothered mate. Rook d3 check and king f4, making the king to walk towards the centre. Just trying to be more aggressive, trying to get these pawns. Rook takes e3 and knight d8, and rook takes h3 and g5. Now what I was expecting this, because checkmate, because you see your knight's under attack. You can go here, get taken, and get check. Again, it's not that bad. You still win because here's a rook versus a knight. It's winnable, and all these extra pawns, so it's definitely winnable. But instead, what's played is d4, and this actually just wins on the spot, which is very interesting. Because after g takes h6, g3, and then this pawn is now protected by the rook, and you don't actually have enough time to attack the pawn. Because let's say you play knight to e6, you can just push the pawn, and you can't defend it because you just don't have any defense. So I play knight f7 check, king g8, knight e3, knight e5, d2, and I play knight f3, and what happens is black trades off the rook for the knight, which you can do, or you can just push the pawn, and you actually slightly better. You can trade off here though, and d1 and makes a queen, so promotes a queen and it's check. King f4, g takes h6, because now the pawn's undefended, but you do double the payout for the pawns in the h file. Very bad. King f5, queen f1 check, king e5, queen to e1 check, king d5, king d1 check, queen d1 check, king e4, queen d2, king e5, and at some point I ran out of time. I think it was in it was in this position that I ran out of time. But what could have been played on is just keep checking, and then just push the king, king f7, king e4, king f6, king f3, king f5, king g3, queen e2, king h3, king f4, king h4, and then queen g4 checkmate, or queen h2 checkmate. And what's funny is in this ending position, it's actually mate in 7. So no matter what white does, black wins. Yeah, so that happened. Yeah, so that was quite a very fun game to play. It was a little bit disappointing I lost, but yeah, nothing really you can do if you lose. Next game is probably going to be in 2-3 weeks, because I have exams. So make a video maybe next week. Not sure. Haven't decided. Let's see what I need to revise first. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video, I guess. Also play chess. Play chess is fun.